Y'all remember the woman whose husband packed her dog food amongst other shitty snacks when she called him and asked him to pack her a lunch for work? And y'all remember how she said that her sister was also in on the joke, so that somehow made it okay? Well, the sister came forward, and the sister is a single mom, and she lives with them. So they were home alone together while you were at work. Where are the people who have jobs? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Because if they had jobs, if they were working, then they wouldn't have time to do this shit. But anyway, I digress. So the sister is like, oh my gosh, she's the nicest person in the entire world. And if he was actually being disrespectful, I wouldn't put up with that. And I love my sister and I actually idolize them and I want what they have. Have y'all ever heard of a movie called All About Eve? Spoiler alert. Okay, so it's an old black and white movie starring Bette Davis. So Bette Davis, her character, comes across this young woman who was like, oh my gosh, I love you. I idolize you. I wish I could be like you. So Bette Davis takes this woman under her wing. Long story short, as the movie progresses, this young woman slowly starts to ease Bette Davis out of the way until eventually she becomes the star of the show and she's getting major awards that Bette Davis, her character, should have gotten. Do y'all see where I'm going with this? But anyway, I keep digressing. I still said what I said in the last update I gave about this whole situation. The more I'm hearing, the worse that it keeps on getting. And I really wish everybody would just shut up at this point. I don't care what your sister says. If your sister loves you, they wouldn't do anything like that to you. And it was all, well, our whole family jokes like this. Your whole family is fucking assholes. I'm sorry. A lot of times, people pass off, well, this is just how my family is. This is just how we are. When your family is just a bunch of jerks that you should probably distance yourself from. I was talking to one of my guy friends. I keep them at a distance. I wouldn't really say we're closely friends, but I wanted to get his input on this whole situation. And he just had this whole weird look on his face. And all he said was, they really don't like her very much. And then he said, that guy really just doesn't like her. And I said, would you ever do anything like this to your girlfriend? And he was like, no. And she just was shocked that something like this occurred, supposedly to somebody he's supposed to be loving. So no matter how you repackage it and put a shiny bow on it and toss glitter at it, it's still not making any sense. These people just don't like you. I'm sorry. I've said this before, and a lot of y'all who have been following my content know this about me. I am modern and forward-thinking and open-minded in a lot of ways. And one of the things that I was taught growing up was, listen, men be menning, any man can cheat, but never make it easier for him to do so. Does that make any sense? All they need is opportunity, and they're gonna do it. But you don't want to be the dumbass handing them the opportunity to fuck up, if that makes any sense. If that even makes any sense at all, I don't know. And this could have potentially been funny had a actual lunch had been packed. But all he gave her was a bunch of shitty snacks and dog food with a note that said, you're my dog, and then bring this back because the dogs are low on food. If that's the case, I don't see the jokes. And now this woman is claiming that her livelihood is at stake. If that is true, I think you need to touch grass if you are calling the school and threatening her job. But this is just, it keeps getting worse. And all I can think about, I try my best not to judge people. One strike against her is that she's a Trump supporter. But I also remember back when I was with my abusive ex-husband, when I would make every excuse in the book for his toxic behavior because I did not want anybody to tell me to leave him, because I desperately just wanted to be able to say that I had a husband. And I also knew that acknowledging the shitty things that he was doing meant that I would actually have to make some changes. I would actually have to put forth work to make a budget and a plan to leave. And what was I going to do as far as raising my kids and providing for them? And that's a scary thought, to have to leap into the unknown and not know what you're going to do. I also felt like a failure because my whole entire life I put marriage on a pedestal. People around me put marriage on a pedestal, and everybody was telling me that marriage is hard work. So I assumed that hard work was putting up with abuse and disrespect. So as I said in my last video about this, women like us don't need to stop saying our piece in these women's comment sections, because they might not realize it now, and unfortunately some never realize it, but we can save some. There are some where you plant that seed and they start thinking about it, and then over time it makes sense and they start to wake up. So while she might be a lost cause, there are other women who need our help. So even though we're annoyed that women post these videos, we don't need to stop telling them your man is a fucking bitch.